Hello, and welcome to the stream today. I really need to get. Kim saying he really needs to get Prime so that he can get rid of the advertisements. I think you should. Amazon, we have Amazon Prime and we use it for pretty much everything nowadays. So I can recommend it. But yes, hello. I saw that there was a question from you on Gitter. I'll maybe get back to you on that if it's what I think it's about. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one, Kim, because reasons. Well, you see, if you get Amazon Prime, that gets you a Twitch Prime. They go together. So with Amazon Prime, you can get a Twitch subscription included in your Amazon Prime subscription. So if you make use of Amazon for deliveries and things with your Prime, you get Twitch as well. Just something to think about. Anyway, so what we were thinking about on Monday we created a PR for GitReleaseManager. Have I been sponsored by Amazon? I'll be honest. Amazon's my go-to now for pretty much anything that I buy. I go to Amazon now because, in fairness, I could probably get it cheaper somewhere else, but it's just easier to find it on Amazon. I'm such a sellout. I really am. But there's a lot to be said for just getting it from somewhere in a consistent way. There's a lot to be said for it. That probably makes me a terrible person, but that's where I'm at. That's not where I want to go. Get tools. There we go. Get it, man. So on Monday, we created a PR, and that PR was about don't create a release when it's not required. So this was all about checking to see if there were any closed issues, or rather, if there weren't any closed issues on the milestone, and if there were issues on the milestone that they weren't excluded, they weren't only excluded ones. So we got something working, and I threw it up, and we tested it, and it works, right? But Kim then did a review of it and saw that the unit tests are failing because we were coming to the end of Monday's session, didn't build it locally, so I didn't see the unit test failing. Put it up, and it broke. So the app.var build kicked in, and we failed the build. Now, the failures are to do with the use of the logger class. So we added in logging to one of the methods, and as a result, when it tries to run the unit tests, the unit test doesn't have access to that logger, so it breaks. Now, I think I'm right in saying that I completely forgot his name. Thomas? Cheese Baron fixed this on one of the other unit tests. So I think we just need to do something similar. So let's have a look and see if we can get this working. So if I do let's open this one, and then let's have a look for logger in current project and see what comes up. Huh. I could be lying. I was sure that there was something in here regarding using the logger. In fact, I'm going to try and remind myself of what I think there was, and then we'll go from there. Last couple of... So let's find from the author that is Cheese Baron. I'll have a look at both of these pull requests and I did it again. See, switching from working on a Mac to working on a Windows machine, muscle memory just kicks in. You type what you think is find, and then it's not. Yes, this is what I thought it was doing. He had to set up this context. So where did he do that then? Was that only in Release Notes Builder Integration Tests? So that was in. So that's why we didn't find it, because it was in the other. It was in this one. Release Notes Integration Tests. He did it here. Interesting. So what is test context? Fine. Okay. So that then means when we come over to the tests that are failing, which was on the blah, 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 GitReleaseManager, Release Notes Builder tests. So where's that guy? Release Notes Builders test here. I think we're going to need a one-time setup like this. Let's borrow this one. There's probably some stuff in here that we don't need, but let's just borrow it all. And I guess we should probably run the build to make sure that we've got something that we can replicate. So let's run the build, make sure that unit tests fail, and then we can test it. So let's put this in here. That's going to fail for a number of reasons, one of which being that the test context hasn't been created. But if we put this in, although where's that? Seems to think it exists as a static. Okay. Let's put this in here. And I've lost a semicolon. That over there. I saved the file. Maybe we didn't want to save that file. Wait and see what happens. Depending on when I saved it, it's either going to work or it's not. So let's. So I saw that you'd updated the issue, the PR sort of that you've been working on, Kim, with regard to the swapping out of CD log, or swapping in a CD log. Is this something that you're actively working on? I see you've been doing a few things. I guess you're maybe just catching up on your to-do list, similar to what I'm doing. I was just curious as to when you're going to be looking at this. And we'll see if this tests pass. If it does, we can maybe get this merged in. Not actively around. Oh, that's fine. Not a problem. I was just curious. Because as we discussed on Monday, it would be good to get the 0.10.0 release of GitReleaseManager out the door, and then I can switch focus to going back to working on something else. Okay, so execute that failed. Failed. I remember now. It's not that we didn't run the build. I need to install the right version of. You're saying need to first update the chocolate packages I'm working on, enable Sonar Cloud for my add-ins, and then I will continue. That's cool. Is there any more add-ins that you need me to add into the Sonar Cloud org on Sonar Cloud for Kit Contrib? Or was it just the 3 that I've added in, or is there other ones you need as well? So that isn't actually going to work, is it? Because write info, write warning, write error. Those are the three. Those are the three. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go and YOLO this into AppBear, and then I'm going to fix this issue with the .NET framework or .NET Core version. I'm going to fix that so that my tests build. So let's do two things at once. We'll do the check-in, make sure the build works on AppBear, and then we'll install what's needed to make this work for me as well. Dun, dun. Why is that not picking up any changes? Let's just do this as a build, fix build. And we'll push that up. So git push origin, push those up. And I need version 2.2.0. So which ones do I currently have? So .NET info? Is it -- info? There we go. So I've only got the newer ones. And because I've got now why? Okay, I see what you're saying. I see why you're saying side by side. I was like, why are you including side by side? But I see what you're up to now. Because I've got a newer version and we're not upgrading, so we will need that. Okay, fine. So Choco install .NET Core SDK version. This wouldn't have worked yesterday, but it will now. -- side by side. Oh, what did I do there? Oh, hold on. That's not gonna. I missed a dash. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I read your wrong one. 402. Yes. Okay. Let's get that installed, and then we'll have a look at the AppBear build as well. See how it's progressing. Let's go up here. Let's go to history. Fix the broken build. So I'll do an install of .NET Core SDK whilst building on AppBear, and we'll see which one wins. So what's it's installing? Probably AppBear. It's installing the world at this point, so there's some dependencies that are brought in by this. There we go. Hello, Maurice. How are you today? Doing fine. I'm good. I'm good. It's Friday. It's Friday. Weekend starts soon. And I have a weekend of spending time with my children. And my wife, of course. But children first. 143 megabytes. Getting close. Getting close. The build is just running through Duke Finder and inspect code. Weekend with the ladies, indeed. Indeed. Oh, there were some. I'm not going to show you here, but there were some cute photos of my youngest taken yesterday. She's turning into a proper little madam. But the photos were very cute. Install OpenCover. We're getting to the point there's a way to do the unit tests. Executing tests. Running tests. Oh, I saw a successful. In there. I think we're there. Oh no, calm down, Maurice. Calm down. It does feel like that. Oh, what was that? It does feel like that some days, though. There's a way to start nursery soon. which is scary enough. Do I need to do the same thing on another test? Where are we? Oh, no? I'm wondering if I shouldn't be using it though. Hold on. What class is this? Those were the ones. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's not that one. Pull requests. So far so good. Looks like the unit tests are failing because of these changes. Oh, okay, sorry. So let me, well, now that we have this working locally, we should be able to run the tests properly. Okay, so that's good. So in theory, let's just see if this build works locally as well. There we go. Choco install more stuff. You have your new VM and need to install. I don't have my new VM, Maurice. That was on my to-do list, still on my to-do list. I never got around to it. So I expect that maybe it'll be rebooting itself in the next short while. And what I need to do is capture the current state of the VM and add it back into my Vagrant script. It's all about the priorities, man. I just haven't done it. Not had time. It's been a busy week. Busy week. I will get there. I'll hopefully have it done by Monday, ready for the next stream. But I can't guarantee it. I might get some time on Sunday to sit down and do it, but we'll see. And you'll see that I've not ordered the green fabric for my desk either. You can still see my desk in the background. I need to fix that too. There's something sticking out there. That's better. That would mean less, but I was thinking more. Once the girls are in bed, I might be able to spend some time getting a few things done. But no, you're right. It would take away from daytime if I were to do that. Dun, dun, dun. So if this one works, we'll run the tests. Once we know that it's building correctly or failing in a consistent way, we'll then be able to run the unit tests in isolation and figure out if we can find out what's going on. It does a little bit, doesn't it? It is. It's an actual. It's got a drawer. I've opened that drawer. Yeah, it's impressive. But yeah, I'm hoping to just get like a meter square of green fabric and just lay it across the top and hope that works. Okay, good. So the unit tests are now running locally, so that's good. So let's jump in here then and see if we can figure out which one is actually failing. So where does it start? I think it's just a repetition. So no commit, no issues. Let's have a look for that one. No commit, no issues. This one's failing. So accept test. Accept test. Oh, I wonder. I think I might know what this is. See, of course it's gonna. Of course we're gonna have broken stuff. See, no, Maurice, I kindly gave that away to someone who requested it, so I don't have. I could have done that, but I can't anymore. Now, I could maybe borrow a bit off of the current green screen, but I don't really want to do that either. So I need to see if I can actually figure it out. So the issue here then is it's now correctly not creating a release when there's not a release to be created. So one of the tests is failing. So it's saying here no commit and no issues. So in that scenario, it shouldn't create a release. So our test is indeed wrong. So no commit, no issues. No commit, no issues is expecting there why? I'm confused. Spy boot. Is this where the secret sauce gets made that makes working with Windows tolerable? Sometimes. Sometimes on the stream we discuss a Windows package manager called Chocolatey that I work on, and we like to think that makes working on Windows more tolerable. I'm not specifically talking about that on today's stream, but very close, very close. So let's just try running this one. Let's see if we can run this test. Where's my test explorer? So in the stream today, Spyboot, we're talking about a tool that I work on called GitReleaseManager. So it's not specific to Windows, but happy to answer any questions you might have. So feel free to shout. One or more errors occurred. So it's throwing an exception, and we need to assert that the exception is expected at that point. Is that right? Because within this accept, it is then doing an assertion using approvals, verifying that the name of the test results in what's expected. But now we need to borrow this one, I think. Is it enough to put this in here, do we think? Oh, I see. So we need to wrap this in here. And we're going to put this in here. Where are we at? We're there. Kick that off. And then put that in there. I used it 2 days ago. I had to help someone get started with setting up a development environment, and it needed Node, Python, Postgres, pgadmin4, Git, VS Code, Yarn, and probably a bunch of other things I always forgot again. It just worked. Love it. Love it. No, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you were around for the stream that was just here, or to the start of the stream, but there was something missing from my machine, and I literally just did Choco install and installed it. So I use it myself. I use it every day. I just happened to build it as well. So, so the aggregate exception is bubbling through. So we're going to make that aggregate exception again. Let's run that one more time. Oh, I remember doing things like that manually before starting to use Chocolate. I never want to go back to that time. I agree. Like I say, I'm slightly biased, but I am happy to hear that people are using it and getting some reliable usage from it and making their lives easier. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So happy to hear that. I'm going to run all the tests this time to see where we get to. So this one's broken. So what's this try to do? This is a singular commit with no issues. So again, what we said was if there was no issue associated with the release, it shouldn't create one. So we need to do something similar to what we were doing before, which was this. We expect that that's going to be an error. So that was this one. So let's wrap this one in and a test here. And we'll run that one again. There we go. And then we've got one more, which was, again, some commits, no issues. That, again, wants to fail because, or will fail because we're now throwing an exception when there are no issues associated with it. We probably need another test case in there, which is some issues, but they're all excluded. We probably need to add in that test case. Exactly what I was thinking there, Kim. That will fall under an issue. So maybe we should do that before I forget. There is an open issue. Let's add a comment in here about that test. Let's add a note in here. For example, verifying that no release is created when only closed issues exist, and also when only closed issues with excluded labels are assigned to the milestone. So I'll add that comment while I remember. Let's go back and run some of these tests again. So Spybook, genuine question while I'm waiting for things to run. Anything that Chocolatey doesn't do that you want it to do? Any problems that you face with it? Happy to take some feedback. Always interested to hear how people are using it and what benefit they're getting out of it. So we'll run this build again. If this build works, I'll do some rebasing and get that PR updated, and hopefully we can get it merged in, because the only comments that Kim added to it was the failing tests, I think. Beautiful. I knew you were going to say that, Maurice. It's on my list. It's genuinely on my list. I want to get that updated. So I have an open PR for adding an export command into choco.exe, and I need to update it. In fact, see it. Might have to do it before then. I was going to say that if we can get to a point where GitReleaseManager is closed off and we get a release out, before we jump to the Chocolate VS Code extension, we could spend a stream getting that PR updated. But I was going to say that might be too late because we have potentially got a release coming up, so it might not go in. The only thing that I messed up on was running the Postgres installer with a parameter to set the Postgres user password, so it generated something randomly and got lost in the... see what you're saying there. I could see how that would be problematic. We fixed that manually, but there may have been a way to reinstall it with the correct argument. I mean, I can't speak to it directly because I'm not familiar with that particular package, And I mean, you could have attempted to do a force with additional parameters being passed in, but it depends on at what point that parameter is actually used and whether the force would make sense or not. Which PR are you referring to? Oh, I know which PR you're referring to, Maurice. You're referring to the environment, the new environment variable for whether the reboots feature is added. I personally haven't looked at it yet, so I don't know. I've not had a chance to get to that one yet. Okay, so that passed again. So let's do another commit here, build, fixing unit tests. I'll throw that up and see if that builds on AppVeyor again, and while that's building, I will rebase this branch to remove to combine those commits. So let's do that. So let's do git rebase -i on develop. I can type develop, and then let's work on getting what now? Why is that opening that? I expected that to open VS Code. I mean, it's not a big deal, but let's. I don't understand why it's opened that. Don't know. Not a big deal. So now we've got a single commit that has got all of those changes in it. Spyboot is asking, would there be a way to let packages reconfigure themselves without reinstalling them if they support it? But that would depend. So, Spyboot, the answer is effectively what Maurice has just said in the chat room there. It really depends on the package. There's lots of caveats in there. So, it really depends. I mean, if you're installing something like an MSI, attempting to reinstall the MSI again will probably just fail, or it'll probably just pass because of the expected exit code will match what's valid. But it really depends on what that parameter is actually doing. Is that being passed down to the native installer, or is that doing something post the installation of Postgres? Is it then running a utility tool to add that user in? If that's the case, then in theory, just doing a forced installation, passing in the package parameter, the install would work because it's already there, and then the subsequent commands would then be executed with those package parameters to make things happen. It's hard to know without actually looking at the Postgres installation files to know what it's doing. So, Kim, I mean, that was my suspicion, but I mean, I'm confused because I should have my Choco is local only, which has my get13 git config package in it. So that core editor change should have been made. I mean, like I say, it's not a big deal. I'm just curious as to why it's not there. So this build's still running. And so if this works, then I think we were at a point where we're ready to go, weren't we? Because we tested it against the fake repository. It all worked as we expected it to. You had a look and it's good apart from the broken tests. I think we fixed that. Yeah, I think we should. Git config core.editor. That's bizarre. It's doing what it's been told to do. Bizarre. Like I say, this VM's getting blown away anyway, so I'll put it back together with my Choco script. So that build passed, so now we're going to go down here and do a git push origin -f, so that we can force that up and we'll do the build again. And then, if you're happy, Kim, I would get you to review that and merge that PR if you were. Update branch merge. Does it need updated? Hold on. Git checkout. Develop. Git fetch upstream. Git rebase upstream develop. Git push origin. I didn't type origin right. And then git checkout feature -gh72. Beautiful. Git rebase on develop. Git push origin -f. That should now be up to date. It says. Beautiful. Ready for review. I've already got Kim as a reviewer. So if you were interested, Kim, you could take a look at the changes that I've made and see if you're happy with it. And if you are, we can get that merged in. So with that one done, what's the next issue on the milestone? So the next milestone is 10, which is this one. Perfect, thank you very much, Kim. This one we're working on. Oh, you see, look at that. How's that for timing? So that's, yeah, it's kind of like an hour from when my VM was started. So we'll just have to wait for that to come back. And then I need to rebuild. Oh, so Kim's just approved. So let's maybe do this while that's happening in the background. Let's pull this up here. Oh, I'd forgotten about that one. That was fun. That was a fun little squirrel hunt we went on that day. Git tools, GitReleaseManager. I'm not signed in, but that's okay. So and then while we're here, let's do this. Dismiss that. So Kim's approved it. Spyboot saying, one suggestion for your current project, find and add any comment lines with to do that were added with commits of that release and add them to the release notes. Ooh. I could see that being populated with a big list. Let's make sure I'm talking about the same thing. One suggestion for your current project, find and add any comment lines with to do that were added with commits of that release and add them to the release notes. I quite like that. I quite like that idea. Yeah. I think that's potentially a good idea. I mean, the one, I'm not signed in here yet, but it's slowly coming back to life, my VM. the one that I was thinking about adding, I think maybe already got it, was, I think that's what Marie said is a good place to start as well. Is it already here? The one that I want to add in is adding the contributors. Yes. So this one was added by Jeffrey. Was to include a list of folks that were part of the current release. So whoever's contributed to it, add them as a list. So he's talking here about using creating lots of images and all that sort of stuff to release. I wasn't planning on going that far because that can be handled elsewhere. But certainly, just generating a list of folks that added to the current release, I think makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we're back. Let's make this a little bit bigger so it's back into the stream window. See where that takes us to. We've got a little bit left and right. Just so it's in the right place. There we go. Yes, no, I had the same thought, Kim. Which I don't see a point in trying. Well, not necessarily. I think a release notes to me are more aimed at kind of just a bulleted list of contributors' names and links off to the GitHub account is kind of what I was thinking. But let's see where we're going to next, because it's coming up to the 1:45, so we probably won't get too much more done today in this lunch hour stream, but we should at least have a plan for where I'm going to be what I'm going to be looking at next. So, did that build fail? I hope not. It's still building, that's fine. Cool. I just saw the red X here, I thought, ooh. So back onto the 0.10.0. This one, there's already an open PR for that, I just need to finish it off, but I wanted to get some of these other things done and dusted first. That would be the develop branch. Why was the last build on the develop branch failed? No, last build on the develop branch worked. Getting lots of notifications to say that. There we go. There we go. So this one's just a change that I need to make in AppVeyor. This one's a change I need to make in AppVeyor. Issue a warning. This was the one I was going to do next. To say that when it can't find the YAML configuration file, it should throw an error or write out a warning that's saying using default configuration. No YAML file provided. Default configuration is going to be used. Oh, you set that up? So what's that, by the way? Is there... I see. So where do I see that in Refine GitHub? Because is it an option here? What you're mentioning there about the auto merge. Okay, I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Is it like a checkbox? When you go to merge, the little check mark. Okay, cool. I'll have to have a look at that. Okay, so let's update my local repository. So cd into C GitHub organizations, Git tools, GitReleaseManager, Git checkout. develop, git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream develop, git push origin, and the branch I was just working on was 72, so git branch -d feature 72, so that's gone. And this one, 170, so git checkout, oh, I've done it again, -b feature gh 170 from develop, and I know, so that's what I said. I felt myself doing it. And I think Spyboot has just created a new issue, so that's cool. And to-do lines and release notes. Perfect. Find and add any comment lines with to-do that have been added with commits of the release and add them to the release notes. So if you commit add user account creation, added to logic, following line, to-do creating your account with band. Then the release notes should contain along the lines of the following, known limitations. I like the idea. I really do. Off the top of my head, I think we can get commits from like the OctoKit API. I think you should create a git checkout -b jar where you I could put it into my pint glass that I've got sitting on my desk here. Can't guarantee it would be £1 every time. That's quite an expensive tip jar. Yeah, so I was saying I'm fairly sure that we can get the commits from the AutoKit API Spyboot. I've not looked at that particular API, so I'd have to see what information that we get. Exactly what Kim said, but I'm not going to promise that we're going to look at this just now. But I think it's a genuinely good idea. I think this could be useful. So the one that I was looking at was issue a warning when there's no configuration file. Yes. So this came about because Jan Punker76 we had a Twitter conversation a while ago about GitReleaseManager, and he was having an issue where he had a GitReleaseManager YAML file. He had some configuration in it, but it wasn't being picked up. Turns out he was running, it wasn't in the same directory that GitReleaseManager was being run from. It was in a different working directory, but there was nothing to indicate that his configuration wasn't being picked up. So what he was kind of looking for was a warning that the default configuration is being used. So if you're expecting a configuration file to be there, if you see a warning, then that would help in that scenario. So I said to him that I think this should be a reasonably simple thing to pick up. So let's go and have a little look and see if we can find where it tries to find the configuration file. And hopefully we can just put in a warning there. If it's not using it, we can go from there. So let's have a look. I suspect it'll be in the core project. Let's have a look at the configuration builder and see where that's being used. Configuration provider. Where is this used? Find all references. Okay. That's the class itself. That's an integration test. Integration test. Test. Don't really care about tests at the minute. I suspect it's just the one that I've got at the top. And that's the same thing. So it's going to be here. Oh, that's for writing the sample. This one. So we either write out the sample or we get a provide. So let's have a look and see what it does. File system is. So here, there is a check. So we can just do it right here. If file system exists, config file path, then we read all of it and we return the deserialized config. If not, we return. So in theory, can we just put logger dot write warning? And Kim has come up with maybe outputting something along the lines of copy link to clipboard, paste it into there. 1328. YAML not found. That's okay. Yeah. Hey Arthur, how's it going? Glad you could join us. Is that enough? So YAML not found. That's okay. Learn more at. So where does this take us to? Let's have a look at see where that takes us to. Come on, copy paste. Yeah, work with me here. Copy paste. About YAML. So do we have an equivalent of that in the Git tools documentation for GitReleaseManager? Let's have a look. Maybe. Ooh, configuration. GitReleaseManager configuration. Oh, look at that. We could just, look at that. It's almost those min-made. I like it. I like it. So the wording that's used there is YAML not found, that's okay, learn more at here. So let's copy that. That didn't. I give up. Warning. So here, yeah, it's here. So we're saying YAML. Did they put it in capitals? No, they didn't. YAML not found. I'm just going to copy it. That's okay. Exclamation mark. Learn more at, and then let's go to our documentation, which is here. It's got a fave icon and everything. Look at that. Copy. There. Boom. YAML not found. That's okay. Learn more at. And then in this one, we can say in here, logger.information using, I will say, YAML found, applying specified, applying configuration. It takes you to the spec docs. Possible to create a short URL somehow. It seems like a long. Seems like. Not an immediate one. I have got it. So the guys on the Git version team have recently added this. So I don't know how to pronounce his name. Arthur, do you know how to pronounce Asbjorn? Is it Asbjorn? Asbjorn has the gitversion.net domain name. I wondered if we needed something like, I haven't bought it yet, but I wondered if we needed something like grm.net. Oh, it's already taken. That's unfortunate. I'm guessing that GitReleaseManager.net won't be. It's quite long as well. So we could get that one. That would make it a little bit shorter. That's the one. How do you pronounce that? How do you pronounce that, Kim? Is it Asbjorn? Am I saying that right? Or am I nowhere even close? I'll wait for a response on that. So I'm nowhere close. Dang it. Never mind. That's how I say it in my head. I'll maybe next time we're talking, I'll need you to get you to tell me how to pronounce that one. But anyway, so I agree that the URLs. So that's not it's not an O then. I don't know enough of things like this. So yes, no, it is not. Love it. Right, so I agree that the URL is probably long. I have access to a short. But I also don't really want to put a. So we might have to put a redirect in. We could do that. We could maybe put a redirect in YAM so that it does a redirect. Because I don't really want to use a shortened link, because putting a shortened link into an output might be people like, well, why are they redirecting me to some random bit.ly link? But we could probably do a 301 redirect within YAM for a short link to then go to another page. I think that's what we'll do. But anyway, it's coming up to the top of the hour, so I'm finishing for just now. But I think we've essentially fixed this issue where it wasn't really an issue. We're really just adding some logging. So I'll quickly put this up so that it's off of this machine. So let's just do code dot here, and let's just do a interim commit, because I'll need to fix it up. Oh, come on, VS Code. Glad to hear it, Spyboot. Happy to have you along, and thank you for raising that issue. I do appreciate it. I'm just going to rebase this, or I'm going to tell myself that I need to rebase this. Normally here, this time every Friday, and then on I'm not sure where you are in the world, but Monday evenings my time, 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock on a Monday evening, normally here too. So more of the same sort of stuff. GitReleaseManager is the focus of my attention just now, but there will be some chocolatey work coming up if that's something you're interested in. We'll be working on the chocolate extension for VS Code and doing some more work on that one. Berlin. Okay. So you be 1 hour ahead of UTC or 2? So yeah, so it's an hour. So yeah, 9 p.m. on your evening, if you're interested. So there's going to be another couple of streams on GitReleaseManager, and once we get that done, it will be back onto some chocolatey focused stuff. The main one being the VS Code extension that I probably have installed here. How do you look? So getting the next release of the chocolate extension for VS Code out the door with some amazing, I'm not lying, some amazing additions that Kim has worked on, that Maurice has worked on, that I've spent some time on. So it's all good stuff. That's where I want to get back to. I want to get back to this one. But anyway, for now, I've fixed that issue, but did I push it? I did. Need to get a shortened URL out so we can do that as part of the documentation. Yeah, that one. But for now, I'm going to go and go do some work because it's my lunch hour is over. So thank you all for coming along, and hopefully see you on Monday. That's right. So I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.